I just think it's such a beautiful setup. But now I just want to I've always, as I said, when I pass by here, I've always see this beautiful array of flowers, and it's just a joy when you're walking down with Max.
Thank you very much.
It's always gorgeous.
And actually, they're not so good this year, strangely. I usually have loads of agapanthus.
Right, and the weather's been quite warm. Is it maybe it's too warm?
I have a pickaxe and all, but this year I wasn't able to swing it.
Aha.
To divide up the agapanthus.
That'll help.
I just couldn't do it, and that's it. But the hydrangeas they come up every year, and they're great, just great.
Now I should say, you've lived here. I don't know how long. You were saying you knew it well even before it became a place to live.
Well, yeah.
It used to be Bradshaw's Fields.
These were Bradshaw's Fields.
Right.
And there was a quarry up at the end of that road.
Ah, okay.
Where there was water, and actually a house recently, about the third down this, had terrible trouble, and they couldn't find out. And Noel gave me a lift up from the shop one day, and he said, Noreen, I said, I saw two big drain things going up there. I said, well, who on earth's having trouble? He said, it's us. I said, what happened? And said, well, he said, we can't find out where the water is coming from. But he said, I can tell you, there was a quarry there when we were young. And my mum used to say, now don't go near the quarry, because you came home with wet shoes. You know. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have been drowned in it or anything, you know. But that was it.
Now, I should say that amazingly, you're 86, and yet you're still out here. I just passed you earlier on.
Doing council work.
Good woman, you're cleaning out the road here now, because you really go beyond your own garden to the fact that it's a space
because
outside
they
as well.
don't do it. Do you know what I saw the sweeper fellow one morning early last week? He came up on that side, and he was okay. He was at the corner, and he came down away from the footpath.
Avoided
had him under surveillance.
Avoided the work that might be there. So how long then have you, because this is, I would imagine this takes years to get a garden into this kind of shape.
I lived away then for years, and then I still had my mum and dad here, and I came back because I had them. And do you know David Sperling?
Yes.
Well, David's my brother.
Ah, okay, there you go.
And Neville.
The there you go. Brilliant. It's always a small world.
Yeah, but David is 14 and a half years younger than me.
That was only a sprightly
He's only a chicken.
Only a kid.
Well, that's it. You know, they were both sea captains.
Right.
And there was another brother, too, who died about 11 years ago.
Right. Okay.
And he was in the Royal Navy first, and then he had to start rock bottom because he was a diver, and off Malta he had a very serious accident.
Oh dear.
And of course in those days they didn't have these bends, as they call them, these chambers to put people into. They use them for MS as well now. But you had to go down again, and these were these awful diving suits, you know, not like today. But so he had to have a big graft taken. His shoulder kept falling out. They couldn't keep it right. And he was a great swimmer. I was a great swimmer as well. But the other two lads they were useless.
Deadly.
And actually, we've all saved. I saved a 13-year-old.
Oh wow.
Down at the harbour, and it was a bank holiday, and there was nobody about. It was very bad weather, and my children wanted to swim anyway, and I said right, because we were out with Gran, and we went down. And nobody saw this girl disappear.
Oh dear.
Except me. And I did a foolish thing, really. Like, I left my own children. Of course, my mum was sitting watching. Not that she would be much good. But anyway, she disappeared. You see, at the bottom of the slip there was a flat rock.
Right.
And there was 11 feet of water there at high tide. So you didn't go very far in your 6 feet of water out of your depth.
Gotcha.
From the beach.
Suddenly you dropped.
Then it went eventually out, you know. But anyway, so I took her in, and because I had watched my dad with the Coast Life Saving Service at the drills, you know, you watched the drills and saw everything they did. And I knew what to do with her just at the time. I mean, now it's completely different. And the mum was in an awful state. Oh, I'll say prayers for you and all this. So someone of her family came and helped me to carry her. We put her down on her tummy and turned her head sideways and pushed up her lungs.
Oh, right.
The water gulched out.
Wow.
Gulched out and gulched out. But she was so, and she was grand, and she nearly broke my neck, I can tell you, because she was a 13-year-old, and look, I was never very tall. But and
Yeah.
the lads as well, and my dad, all saved lives.
That's terrific, you know,
Yeah.
because you live in a seaside town, you know that there's always
Well,
going to be
my
that
dad knew the
potential
tides
danger.
like nobody else.
Right,
Nobody
right.
else. And, but
Well, it's instinctual then. If you've got a father, especially that deeply rooted in
he
just
was.
knowing the water, knowing
Yeah,
the sea, it's going to
yeah.
it's going to
Well, he
pass
was
on
at
to the
sea
children.
during the war as well. You
Right,
see.
right. So
Yeah.
he's very
And
familiar
then
with
he
it.
got Uncle John to build him 2 boats, and he called one the Connie and the other the Lily because they were cousins.
Nice,
He put
nice.
the name on them. People would ring him and say, "Listen, Bill, could I have the Connie at 3 o'clock?" No, you won't be going fishing today. And he always knew where to send people to get fish.
All right,
Because there
right.
was great fishing in Greystones in those
Yeah,
days.
yeah. No, it definitely had that
And they used to
reputation.
send it, they had so much fish, they used to send it to the Dublin market.
Wow, wow.
You know, here.
Abundance. Yeah.
Yeah, now, I don't know what you think about
Well, the
all,
laws
but-
and all that have shifted so much. You know, it seems
But,
locally that you just almost can't.
it's
You know, go out and
unbelievable, unbelievable.
Yeah. Now, I should ask, kind of briefly, in regard to the actual garden here that you have. How long have you been working this garden? Because as I said, I've always noticed how beautiful it is. So I presume.
Well, I came back here in 77,
Right.
and the houses were 4.5 years old then,
Right.
and there was no wall, of course. I had to get planning
okay.
for that.
All right.
But they used to walk, anyone going to work, there was nothing here, only a board. It's still under some of the places.
Okay.
You'd see it under the hedges,
Right.
but not over there, but
Yeah.
up near the top. But they used to walk through this way. And you know the way there's a walk on that grass corner?
Yes.
There
yes.
was one here in my
Or
garden.
people just think that, everyone just takes the slightly shorter, whatever the shortest,
So I
even
said
seconds.
I'd put a stop to that, and Frank
Yeah.
said, no, don't be mean. So the people, well, I said they can walk around the corner, and that's that.
Sure.
So eventually then, and I planted 3 cordyline.
Right.
That's a cordyline.
Ah,
There were 7 horses in the fields there.
7 horses.
Horses.
Oh, wow.
And there were a good few bullocks.
Right.
And they used to come in, and this is the way they'd go up against the cordylines, back ways, you know, with the feet.
Right.
Because they don't need to step over a board.
Yes, of course.
And I thought, this is dreadful. So anyway, Frank went to the council to see what we could do about a wall. And they said, well, grow a hedge.
Nice.
And Frank was not a gardener. He loved his
Right.
golf, but he wasn't a gardener.
Right.
And but he did. We'd see him. We'd say, "Look, Dad's enjoying that."
Yeah.
But anyway,
So a hedge
so
wasn't
they
going to be a
said,
runner,
no,
I guess.
But put the wall inside it.
Okay.
That's exactly what they said.
Wow.
And they're getting paid a handsome sum and
Yeah.
a handsome pension for rubbish talk.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's ridiculous. So we got planning then, and that's that.
And I'm
But
guessing then, so the passion.
77, I came back here, and I've been working at it ever since.
I'm guessing the passion is yours then in the family. Like you're the gardener then. It wasn't like it wasn't the both of you were out. Frank wouldn't be out doing this with you. Was it always
no,
your
of course he
love?
worked. You see, Frank was very busy. He worked. He was a
Right.
director of Coyle Hamilton's.
Ah, okay.
And he died. He'd one more day. He was captain in the golf club, and he'd one more day to do, and he died. He's the only one that died in harness. You know.
Holy moly.
That was in '83.
Ah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That's quite
There
early
I am,
on.
all those years mullicking along on my own.
Well, you're doing you're a fine mulliker because you're doing incredible work here. It's so beautiful. So, and would that have come from your parents, or was it just I don't know whether it was just
I'll tell you. My mum was quite Dave's very keen on the flowers too, but
Right.
he's very good to my other brother, Dave Neville,
right.
who has Parkinson's.
And okay.
But he's very with it, and he's
Right.
good speech, and he's very with it. You know?
Right.
And David's great. He goes into him. That's Nev's little old car, and he says,
Ah.
when it's worn out, we'll get a new one.
Well, that's the way.
You
it is.
know, yeah. And I mean, he's just had it it got its MOT and all the rest of it.
Right.
But
right.
anyway, that's
But
how
would they
long
have-
I've been doing the garden.
And would it be as I said, like I don't know whether it's like your own brothers had a love for gardening, or whether it came from your mom or your dad, or
from my mum.
right.
My granddad came from America. He was from Rathnew originally. And would he be my great-granduncle? No, he'd be my granduncle. Really made Mount Usher, Walpole's Gardens.
Oh.
His name was Charles Fox.
Wow.
And he travelled the world with the Walpoles. And there was no such thing as quarantine for plants or anything
Right,
in
you could
those
just
days.
grab them.
And they brought things from all over the world.
Beautiful.
And they have a memoriam to them in the garden. So I
Lovely.
suppose it's in me.
Yeah, I
And
think so.
and I love,
That's in your heritage,
I
all
mean,
right.
I'd
in
love
your
lots
blood.
more, but the ground isn't great, and it needs manual work, you know.
Right. Well,
but,
whatever you're doing it right, and you're doing it well, because it is beautiful. That is amazing.
Hydrangea. It's very hard for
Oh,
them
the
to
little guy
stay
here.
purple.
Oh yes, yes.
And you know what I gave it?
What did you give us?
Chopped up banana skins. The
That's a
potassium
Oh, brilliant.
in
Brilliant.
the banana skins.
Ah, wow,
and
that's
look,
perfect.
it stayed this year. I
Nice.
was, do you know, I got such a thrill from it. That it stayed purple.
Ah,
you
well
know,
done.
it's just amazing now.
Well,
really
I'll let you know
amazing.
now. You'll be our first. We're going
Well,
to do
now-
this regular series, hopefully, and you're our first up because, as I said, I've walked here many times with Max, and I always thought just such a stunning
Well,
little
you're
garden.
great to do it.
Well, I
and
just think
but
it's a beautiful
there
spot.
must be some love. I used to love the gardens on the Burnaby. There was Dunlow was up near the top of the
Yeah.
Richard Road on the left, and they had a beautiful garden. And you went around the back. You could walk right around.
Lovely.
You see, we all walked in those days.
Yeah, yeah.
You got out for walks. And my Aunt Em had 7 children. And she had a girl about 3 days a week just to take them out. But she took them out the other days. And we walked and she used to tell me about flowers. Hi, Bernie! Tell me about flowers and all sorts of things.
Well, that's a lovely thing.
You
And
know-
as I said, I think myself and Max walk everywhere, and we just noticed these things. That I must actually start making a little record. It's
Well,
beautiful.
that's it.
Beautiful.
Well, now that's where